Thanks for joining us on the show today on NEA Report. I'm Stan Morris, and it's time to do the news. Tonight on NEA Report, hepatitis A reported in Walnut Ridge, and now caution being urged by the Arkansas Department of Health. We'll tell you what you need to know to keep you and your family safe next. Exclusive reporting. Tonight, Officer Matthew Mercado has been discovered. The previous officer who was alleged to have assaulted the rail worker, he's been discovered to have a violent past, specifically an arrest for battery by Walnut Ridge Police Department within 2 years of being hired as an officer. Also, new details on how he job skipped between departments every few months. The incident with the rail worker 11 days after being hired. And he also resigned through text messages about a month later. Details on all of these stories next, and an exclusive statement from a witness who testified against Mercado in the battery case. How he said Mercado attacked his boss. NEA Report starts right now. First up tonight, we begin with news on hepatitis A being reported in Walnut Ridge, and news about anyone who has reportedly eaten at the Doublebee's gas station. Well, you could be at risk, and we're going to tell you just exactly what you need to know right now. If you ate at the facility, Doublebee's gas station, 1003 Highway 63, between April 7th and April 18th, it's said by the Arkansas Department of Health that you should seek immediate care over what could be unknown exposure to hepatitis A. It's a contagious liver disease, and it can be prevented, it says, after exposure by getting a vaccine or medicine called immune globulin. The medicine is containing of antibodies to hepatitis A, but has to be given within 2 weeks of exposure to the virus for it to work the best. And with this in mind, and the potential for this to have affected so many people, the Lawrence County Health Unit in Walnut Ridge is hosting a walk-in clinic providing vaccinations tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. This contagious liver disease can be spread without you observing any symptoms. Children often have vaccines before they go into school. However, it's not always the same for adults. Sometimes adults don't have those vaccines, and we want to make sure that everyone who might potentially be at risk is aware of the situation. We've learned new details tonight about the Officer Matthew Mercado and his past. Specifically, details that we received in his personnel records show that Mercado was arrested in 2014 for third-degree battery. Who was the arrest by? It was Walnut Ridge Police Department. Mercado's personnel files say that he was found not guilty, but the third-degree battery arrest was on June 10th, 2014. At the time, his personnel files show that Mercado worked at Hoxie Schools. According to the records, he was initially a teacher before becoming an ISS, in-school suspension supervisor or teacher or director, whatever the term you might use for the custodian of the troubled children would be. He was employed by the Hoxie School District from March 2014 to December 2015. That's when he says he left Northeast Arkansas to pursue a law enforcement career. But curiously, he wouldn't be gone for long. He was only gone to Colorado for 1 year. And we've learned about this allegation before we get to the timeline. We learned from a man by the name of Steve Russell, who posted and shared this story earlier this afternoon. Russell said he testified against Mercado in the case, and he described the arrest, what happened because of it, and what was followed, which was the case being dismissed. Russell sent this quote along exclusively to NEA Report, and here's what it says, quote, "He came up to my boss," it says, "while he was standing behind my truck in my driveway and confronted him about the issue they had while they were in their vehicles, stating my boss had endangered him and his kids." That's according to Steve Russell. Quote, "Then when my boss said he didn't know what he was talking about, Matt started hitting him repeatedly. I'd say 6 or 7 times before I told Matt, go home, because my boss wasn't fighting back. It says my boss called police. I made a statement to that fact and even testified in court to that fact." And he said even after that, the justice system not prevailing in Lawrence County. and that he was dismissed. The case, it says, was dismissed. That's according to the account of the details made by Steve Russell, who said he was a witness in the case. Now, I told you we had a timeline of the events detailing Officer Mercado, and we do. It's a curious timeline as we went through his personnel files last night, hundreds of files. Actually, it was technically early this morning, and if you were watching on NEA Report about 2:30 a.m., we posted the story. Let's run through the timeline because it shows a curious case of a job-skipping law enforcement officer. As far as why he's skipping all these jobs, we don't know. Now, this morning, I did submit some more FOIA requests to hopefully learn more. We've not gotten those as of this broadcast. On April 30th, 2016, he was hired at the La Junta Police Department. This is in Colorado. But less than a month later, he left that department. His first job. Less than a month later. Why? Well, it was 4 days later he was hired at the Crowley County Sheriff's Department. Maybe he got a better paying job, even though he was there less than a month. But it was only about 2 months and a few days from June to July, July to August, 4 days in August and a couple of days in May, that he departed his second law enforcement job. He was gone. And then a month went by without him having a job. He didn't leave that one for a better paying career, I can tell you, because his next job was October 2016 when he was hired as a pump technician for an oil company. That lasted 2 months. Because in December of 2016, he left that job and returned to Arkansas. He was hired on December 15th, 2016 by the Walnut Ridge Police Department, a little over 2 years after they had arrested him for third-degree battery. It was 11 days later, that Mercado was seen on video attacking the railroad worker, and we have showed you that video plenty of times.
Yeah, you're obstructing with my operation. No, let me tell you. I mean, I work for him. Look at all this stuff back here. What did I tell you about getting up on me, sir? Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. You're about ignorant. Get your ass over here. Sir. What you do? I work for him. Stand there. You move again. What'd I tell you about getting up on me? I wasn't. I was just trying to tell you something that I could prove that I worked for him. What'd I tell you about getting up on me? I'm sorry, I didn't. Now, you want to be a fucking asshole some more? No, I'm sorry. You better shut your fucking mouth. Come here. You set your ass right there. And you move from there and I'm going to ride your ass. You understand? I don't know who the hell you think. Look at me. Who the hell you think you are? Or where you're from. Where you mess with cops like that. You lost your damn mind. I dare you move from there.
Of course, we'll cut the video out right before he begins his what has been described as an illegal search on the truck because he did not have permission to search through the vehicle. He simply turns and goes and begins searching through the vehicle, and thankfully he stops a short time later, not before he once again violated the man's rights. Not that that was, at that point of the stop, a big concern. So 11 days, that's how long had passed. 11 days between being hired and what you just saw. Think about that. You get hired at a new job. The first month or two, you're tiptoeing around, right? You're careful. You don't want to make any mistakes. You want to make your boss happy. 11 days go by and we see that take place. And we've already heard earlier in the show the description of him going and attacking a guy, punching him in the face, even though the guy wasn't fighting back. Of course, the Lawrence County courts threw that case out, according to what we know, even with the witness testimony. Maybe it was the wrong person on the wrong side of the case. I'd love to know what Ryan Cooper thought of that one. Maybe Ryan Cooper was the one that prosecuted that one. We'll get to Mr. Cooper here in just a second. So after 11 days being employed by the Walnut Ridge Police Department, Mercado attacked Adam Finley for working on the railroad. It was not that incident that led him to leave the department. I know a lot of people have been saying, well, he left, right? He got out of there. Or people are asking if he was maybe even forced out. forced to resign because of what you just saw. Well, if you think that, you're going to have your jaw hit the floor when you take a look at this, because that's not why he left. He left the department through text message. And here's the text message that I pulled through Freedom of Information Act request. Morning, Chief. I'm sorry, but I've thought about it. I'm going to resign, sir. Even if you would put me on third shift, I would still have to come home to be able to take my children to school. With the mayor's standing orders, I don't see any other option. I thought about this all night, literally, and I know you guys are upset with me, but I would like to think you will allow me to reapply once the consolidation takes place. That's a text message sent by Officer Matthew Mercado, at the time officer, to Police Chief Chris Kirksey. Kirksey responded to him and thanked him, but then Kirksey ended up putting a letter in his file, a letter that was glowing, gave him a glowing recommendation. Quote, I would like to take this time to thank you for the time you've spent with us as an employee and police officer at the Walnut Ridge Police Department. Quote, you have truly stood out in a great light through the hard work you've displayed in the short time you've spent here. Yeah, you did. You truly stood out in a great light.
No, let me tell you. I mean, I've worked for him. Look at all this stuff back here. What did I tell you about getting up on me, searching around?
That's standing out in a great light. At least that's according to Police Chief Chris Kirksey. Now, as we continue to follow the story, we told you he went to Colorado, and we showed you the timeline. He continuously left jobs after 1 month, 2 months, or 2 months and a few days. But why? A lot of folks sending us messages, a lot of folks saying to us, there has to be something there. And we want to know what it is. So we started contacting authorities in Colorado. And I thought you guys might be kind of interested to hear this, because for starters, I reached out to the Crowley County Sheriff's Department, where he worked right before coming to the Walnut Ridge Police Department, well, between that and the pump technician job. And authorities in Colorado said that their phones have been blowing up all hours of the night regarding Mercado. People from all across the globe in the United States sending messages to these officers in Colorado to make sure they know about this guy. He's at least not at that department. We don't know if he's at another department, but we don't know. I mean, well, I can't say I don't think he is, because I really don't know. But we know he's not at that particular department. I talked to a lieutenant who wouldn't disclose if Mercado had a prior concerning incident that led to his departure there. But I found it to be interesting because I asked the lieutenant specifically, you've seen the video, right? And the lieutenant said yes. And I said, so you know what this is all about? And the lieutenant said yes. And I said, so did something like this happen there? And the lieutenant was silent. And I said, off the record. And the answer, which if she would have told me, I wouldn't be able to tell you guys here right now, but she didn't. She said, well, nothing's off the record. And that was kind of an interesting quote, because to a degree, you're right. But if I tell somebody I'll keep it off the record, I will if they answer the question. She didn't. But we did submit a Freedom of Information Act request this morning for his personnel files, for all of his disciplinary files, trying to find out what happened, what went down in Colorado to cause Officer Mercado to leave after being there for just 1 year. And he moved out there to pursue his law enforcement career. But we don't know why he moved back. It's day 7 on our Cooper countdown. Day 7 of no response from Deputy Prosecutor Ryan Cooper. He's contracted by the Walnut Ridge City Council to provide justice, something we've not been able to find much of yet in this case, or for that matter anywhere else, but this is the case that we're looking at right now. I know that Cooper won't contact me back, but he has a lot of female friends who will, for some reason. For instance, one with the ATOD, she reached out and attacked me personally, specifically, sending articles of negative stuff, attacking me, because I should be held to the same standard as this guy. No, I don't work for the public. But at the same side, if I did, even if I didn't, I'd be happy to answer any of the questions that come through. Cooper won't answer any questions. He's silent. I don't know if he's, doing another play up in Pocahontas, but we would love to talk to him, because we feel like he should answer some questions about what took place here. We feel like everybody that keeps tuning in and wanting to know what in the heck is going on across Northeast Arkansas thinks he should probably be answering some questions too. I don't think that we're getting 20,000, 10,000 views a day on this particular story because that the public thinks he's doing a great job. Hey, gonna go out on a limb with that one, right? Come on, Mr. Cooper. Let's talk to the press. You work for the public. Answer questions. We're not going to stop this until you do. We told you yesterday, and we're going to revisit it again, there was a statement from the city attorney, Nancy Hall, regarding this case. If you recall, back in the last week, it was referred to as a nuisance lawsuit by Hall. But I don't think she had taken the time since then to really fully examine it. Now, you don't have a choice, but at this point, to know about what has gone on in the community of Walnut Ridge. The video we showed you a moment ago, it's clearly emotionally gut-wrenching. It's disturbing, especially to people who've ever experienced, police abuse. She sent this statement on Monday. It was Monday, yesterday. I can't believe a week has already gone by in this case. And she said that regarding that pending litigation, she wanted to clarify her statement made a week ago. She said, it's one I regret because it doesn't accurately reflect my position professionally or personally. And so she went on to say that she thinks that the best comment that could have been made at Monday night's meeting was no comment whatsoever. Silence would have been more in line with my core beliefs, she says. That all parties in litigation must be given the opportunity to be heard and all tribunals be impartial. She said the video released, obviously, emotionally charged, creating great division both inside and outside the town, it says. Adversity is rarely pleasant. But the thing is, and she said her personal hope being that the adversity leads to positive results. Quite obviously, that is our personal hope as well. We want to see this lead to positive results. The positive results any A report wants to see comes from the idea that we're not going to hopefully be doing any kind of police cover-ups in the future, right? Because that's not exactly what that you want to have take place in your community. It says the defendants in the pending suit have representation with the Arkansas Municipal League in Little Rock. The attorney in charge of the matter will be responsible for commenting on the case, it says. But for this reason, she said, I've been asked to not comment further on the actual litigation and follow the directive. That's her quote that we got from her yesterday. We were able to confirm that the police chief is on leave. We know that he is no longer at least as of today, at work, but we don't know how long that will be or if that is a suspension. The only confirmation is it's administrative leave, paid administrative leave, and we've been told for any additional comments to contact the Arkansas Municipal League. It's an interesting story, and we don't think we've reached the end of it yet. In fact, I just noticed that Attorney Mark Reese has walked up to the office here. I'll see if I can get him to make a statement live on the air next. Stand by, everybody.
What a great day it is in Craighead County. You know, we got a very important election coming up, May 22nd. You'll get to choose your new judge. I hope and pray that you look at the issues at hand. This is a very, very important election. This will be the first 4-year term for your county judge. We're facing many, many issues, from school safety to road safety to drainage. We have plans in place. I'm coming in with a strong team of people with boots on the ground. We're going to make this a better Craighead County. We're going to be open and transparent. This is your office. It's always going to be an open door policy. And you know, I'm happy to announce I've got a team of volunteers. It's going to be called the Craighead County Green Team. We're going to clean up the ditches and roadways in Craighead County. With the resources that we have on hand, you're not going to see illegal dump sites and things like that. We're going to be proactive. We're going to make this a better Craighead County. My name is Jeff Presley, and I approve this message.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
Haley Norris, Realtor.
No.
Should I make my hair go like this? Whether you need to buy, sell, or lease. Haley, can I use my hands? Or is that, where are my hands? Where do they go?
Just say,
Haley.
Just say Haley.
Whether You need my expertise. Haley Norris Realtor. Or even do a commercial lease. Haley Norris Realtor. Should I say Remax Real Estate Center or no? Is that too salesy?
No, that's good.
My average days on market is just 50 days. You need my expertise. And that means I'm putting more money back in your pocket.
Accidents happen. So what happens if you bring your car or truck to Stadium Auto Body? It's in the hands of a manufacturer-certified expert who'll treat it with respect. It's brought back to life using the advanced tools and technologies today's vehicles require. All makes, all models. At Stadium Auto Body, we do the job right, back our work with a limited lifetime warranty, and make the whole experience pleasantly easy. Accidents happen. We're what happens next. Tell your insurance company you choose Stadium Auto Body.
Yeah, we're back live on NEA Report. We'll tell you about that weather in just a second. Actually, was going to come back to the story involving Walnut Ridge first. It's Dan Morris reporting 325 in Jonesboro right now, and across northeast Arkansas and in Walnut Ridge, where the community besieged with complaints right now, and their Facebook page taken down as a result of that. Specifically, we found out earlier this week that the Walnut Ridge Facebook page was going to be taken down. They announced on Monday that they would take it down because of, well, their social media policy. Here's the gist of what happened. There were several days where comments were being deleted off of the page by government officials. There's a lot of cases being litigated with that right now in the sense of whether or not that is a First Amendment violation, but the quick gist of it is when the government censors you, it's generally speaking viewed as a First Amendment violation unless there is some specific justification for the limit of the First Amendment that you were censored on, like if you were screaming fire in a crowded theater, if you're trying to post your opinion on a police department's page and tell them you don't think they're doing a good job and they delete it. Quite obviously, that's more along the lines of the kind of thing you would see in Russia and not the United States. We still have a democracy around here, and so journalism and democracy and free values and things like that are things that are good. That's what makes our nation and our society great, because we're able to call each other out on our mistakes and correct them. You can't really do that if the mistakes are deleted before you have a chance to even read them or respond to them. But I want to show you the evidence of that, just because you can see here 92 comments that were made on this particular thread. But whenever you open it up, no comments available. That's generally not because 92 people decided to delete their comments, coincidentally. So that's going to be another situation we're going to continue following, because the Walnut Ridge legal minds, if you will, City Attorney Nancy Hall and the other, they're going to be coming up and crafting a policy, it says, according to the Post, to allow them to bring their page back up. It says it may be down for a few months, and I wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, if a police department in Colorado was complaining to me about the kinds of messages that they were receiving, chances are it's probably not a whole lot better here in Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, either. Time now for a look at your New Wave Wireless weather forecast. It's home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. It's set to be a nice evening tonight and maybe a few showers on the way tomorrow, but we've got temperatures that almost look like a computer glitch, 68 degrees every single day in the 5-day forecast until we get to Saturday. Tonight, 52 degrees, mostly clear. Tomorrow, 40% chance of showers after 1 p.m. with increasing clouds and a high near 68. Showers likely tomorrow night with a low around 51. Maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain possible, but shouldn't be too terribly much. 30% chance of showers on Thursday, mainly before the afternoon. Highs around 68. Same for the high on Friday, too, with more showers possible. You might even see a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And, of course, we'll be here to let you know if severe weather breaks out. We like doing severe weather coverage on NEA Report. It's one of our things. So Saturday, sunny skies, a high near 71. Should be a great weekend for you to get out, maybe hit the park or go for a jog or go for a run or just take the family outside, do something great. Right now, 64 degrees with overcast skies in Jonesboro. And, wow, it's 3:29. We've got so many people in chat right now. Looks like 120 folks watching us right now live. Guys, thank you so very much for doing that. That is, it's anytime we see so many people choosing to make us their news source, we're honored by that. So we greatly appreciate that. We know everybody's kind of watching this story with the Walnut Ridge situation that's been going on, and we know everybody wants to know, when will this come to fruition, when we learn more about this. We're going to keep following it from the journalism side. I know that Jonesboro attorney Mark Reese represents Adam Finley, and I know that they're pursuing it from the civil litigation side. At this point right now, we've gotten statement from attorney Reese, and I don't really know what else. I was thinking of asking him for more, but until it goes to trial, there's only so much that he could say. But I do got him right here with me in studio, so I want to ask one quick question. And thank you, by the way, for jumping in with me. I appreciate you. Mark Reese joining us live in studio. Let me just ask you this. This thing is getting attention like I've never imagined. Has that been a little bit surprising for you?
Well, Stan, I think it's certainly a little bit surprising, but I'm thankful that it has got the attention that it has, because when something like this happens, it certainly, I think it affects all of us. It affects justice, and when you see something like this, that happens to this extent, you sometimes wonder how many times has it happened that it's not caught on camera. And that's the biggest issue, and one of the biggest things that I'm thankful for, that it has taken off, and a lot of people out throughout the country have seen it. So I'm quite pleased that it's taken off like that.
This is kind of one of those reasons why, and I animate it to folks, but defense attorneys have a very important role in our society. The presumption of innocence, we got to keep that in mind just anytime we see people get arrested, that it's an allegation, because you never know what kind of case it's could end up being. This probably most cases aren't, but that being said, I think this is just another case for us to remember why it's innocent until proven guilty, and why we have the process.
Absolutely. I see comments sometimes on just after someone's arrested, and it seems like that a lot of people are ready to hang them up even before they've had the chance to even tell their side of the story.
Right.
And so I always try to tell my own family, look, this person is presumed innocent, and I think we all have to remember that, because if we get to where we think someone's guilty before they've even had a chance to prove anything in court, then that becomes very dangerous.
It really does. It endangers our democracy. You're talking about the ability for people that have questioned the government or come in and filed a complaint on somebody that works for the government to turn around and potentially end up arrested. And I wish I could say that that's a worst case scenario that I come up with in my head, but that's literally what happened in this particular case. Somebody comes in, makes a complaint, and they walk out facing charges. That's not what the system is supposed to be. Yeah, and so we know that. We've had that discussion, and I think a lot of people, probably millions at this point, have seen how that has played out. And thank you. I mean, seriously, for taking this case. I know that Adam Finley has got to be glad you took it, but really, it could end up changing more than just one man's life. This could hopefully help improve the process all around. So thank you for taking this.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mark Reese, for coming in studio with us this afternoon. Thank you for everybody joining us live on NEA Report. We appreciate you all tuning in. We're back tomorrow with more news from Northeast Arkansas. About 3 p.m. every day is when we come at you live right here on our broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Please be safe out there, and hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Couple of chance for sprinkles showing up for us today, but should be a mostly cloudy evening tonight with a low down to 52. Have a good night.